going to take some getting used to. What's up, boys? Notice it's just me tonight. Joe's got a little case of the tummy aches. He's not feeling good. Sucks. So hopefully he gets better. So if you're listening to this, Joe, just did the hand heart. Love you, buddy. Hope you feel better soon. Whew. Feels weird. New intro. So if you're on the tube, hope you enjoyed that. Just want to correct some things from last week. To start off, first off, we are live on basically anywhere you get your podcasts. Apple, Google, Spotify, Pandora, probably. So yeah, we're all fancy. And if you're on the YouTube, you can see my little dancing ribbon, because we are in October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So tattoo and all. So we be doing it. We got Bradley in here. Hey, Bradley. He says, feel better, Joe. Doing good, Bradley. Doing good. How are you? We got some stuff to talk about. First, we can literally just jump right into like week 5, right? I guess week 4 recap. Is the NFL rigged? This came up with the whole Taylor Swift and being at the game, and then there was the holding penalty that a lot of people don't think was a holding penalty. I do think it was a penalty. I'm not a fan of either team. I don't have a dog in the fight. If you turn a receiver, it's holding. And I found it really funny that Sauce took it to Twitter to show a video, and then in his own comments, he said this is in the 5 to 7 yard range, which by rule, even if it's not holding, that's illegal contact. You can't touch after 5. So he kind of told on himself, which it's pretty funny, honestly. Like, even if it's not holding, it's still legal contact. So, I mean, pick your poison, which one you really want. Yeah, the whole NFL rig thing is because Taylor Swift was in attendance. They didn't want the Chiefs to lose, so the refs put on their Chiefs uniforms, and also the NFL put on their banner on Instagram, which I thought was kind of weird. Chiefs are 2-0 with Taylor Swift in attendance, or since Swifties took over, or something like that. It was kind of weird. It's kind of weird for the NFL to do that, and then they changed their X picture, their banner or whatever, to Swifties. Like, it was a whole bunch of Taylor Swifts. Like, I can't defend that part. I feel like that's a little much. Honestly, we're making too much out of this Taylor Swift thing, and I love Taylor Swift. I'm a Swiftie myself, but I could care less if she's going to the games or if she's dating Travis Kelce or whatever. But yeah, no, I don't think the NFL's rigged. I think Sauce committed a penalty and they paid for it. It is what it is. I think people are just trying to find a reason to hate Mahomes, honestly. It's weird. I'm kind of just like ranting to myself. So this is kind of weird, but it is what it is. I'll move on from Taylor Swift, honestly. It is what it is. So let's just talk strictly about week 4, surprises, all that stuff. Big surprise through 4 weeks. I said it 2 weeks ago. I am completely out on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Completely out. They 100% mishandled his injury. He statistically has been the worst quarterback in the league. Worse than Zach Wilson, worse than Danny Dimes, worse than insert quarterback here. It's not been pretty. I don't think it's Joe Burrow's fault. He's hurt. He's hurt. They should be resting him. They should have rested him. It's too late now. But they had their chance. I think 1-3. I think they're done. I thought they were done at 0-2. They got lucky in week 3 with a win over the Rams, but I think they're done. They're done. Well, and dumb, I guess. If Joe was here, we'd talk about how the Broncos won the toilet bowl. I'm sure he's thrilled. Not a good game. They good comeback, but not a good game in the slightest. Not even a little bit of a good game. Justin Fields looked really good until he didn't. The Broncos didn't look good until they did. So it was kind of like what we kind of expected. 31-28, I think, was the final. And it just, I don't think it was pretty football, but it is what it is. I am 1-3 in fantasy as well for my league. It's no bueno. It's no bueno. But in other news, the Cowboys are 100% dismantled the Patriots. Huge bounce back game. I think that that's exactly what they needed. Mac Jones getting benched was no bueno either. And let's see, we got some questions. So 100%, I would go Algier over Zeke. I love Zeke, but give me Algier. Largest loss in the Belichick era, 35 points. It was a butt whooping. A Mac smashing to keep it PG. It was just everything you wanted to see. Darren Bland looked really good, 2 picks. Mac Jones had 2 touchdowns. He had a handoff to Leighton Vander Esch for 6. And I think that his pass to Darren Bland for 6 was also very good. I was very excited to see that. The other big thing, not really surprised. I'm not surprised the Dolphins lost. I'm surprised how they lost. They got butt smacked. They scored 70. It looked like they were out of gas. But what I've been saying about the Dolphins is we don't know because their offensive line is not good. That's their weak point. I'm not a huge believer in Tua. I don't think he's bad. He's not amazing by any means. They play a team that can put pressure on them. It's disrupts the timing of that offense, and that in that offense, timing is everything. And it showed. It showed. And they have to play some really tough teams. They got to play the Bills again. They're going to have some tough defenses. So, I mean, we're going to see how it plays out. But the offensive line is a problem, and it's not going to get fixed tomorrow. Trying to think of any other big surprises. Zach Wilson outplayed Mahomes, right? So that was crazy. I mean, they ended up winning, but Zach Wilson played better. We'll do a little bit more week 5 talk. We'll talk fantasy at that time. But yeah, no, Zach Wilson actually looked like a decent quarterback. But I mean, the Chiefs are the better team. I don't think there was any other oh my God games, right? Nothing's popping to my head. So let's switch gears up a little bit. We haven't talked about this with Joe for a while, honestly, because we just talk about it. Baseball players are underway. Last pod, the Cubs were still alive, and then they won their last game, and then they had lost too many, so they ended up getting eliminated, which sucks. Honestly. But we did have some playoff games played today. The Twins are advancing. They beat the Blue Jays, wild card, and then the Rangers also advancing, beating the Rays, which is crazy. At the beginning of the year, the Rays were like unstoppable, right? They had the crazy streak to start the season, and now it's just all for naught. They didn't even win the AL East, so crazy. Twins looked good. Orioles are good. Like, it's just the fact that the Rays are just out of it. Like, I know they're a good team, but it's over. It's over. We got the Astros, the Rangers, the Orioles, and the Twins left in the AL, and currently we have the Brewers beating the Diamondbacks, trying to avoid getting knocked out, and then the Phillies and Marlins are currently tied. So we're gonna maybe we get a game 3, maybe we get 4 total sweeps in the wild card round. It is what it is, right? I think the Twins are very good. I think it's going to be a good battle. Twins got the Astros, Orioles got the Rangers got the Orioles. Honestly, I think it's going to be Astros and Orioles. Obviously, it'd be better if Joe was here because I would make Joe make his picks too, even though baseball sucks, and baseball does suck now, officially, because the Cubs are out, the Cardinals are out, baseball sucks. So I'll take. I'm gonna root for the Orioles this playoffs. I'm gonna root for the Orioles. My dad's an Orioles fan, so that's the way I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Orioles. But I do want to just put this out there. I remember Reds fans being extremely excited, like 2 months ago. I just remembered. They didn't keep that energy. I haven't heard anything from Reds fans. Cincinnati fans are just like not doing good right now. So if you have any Cincinnati friends, check on them for me. Yeah, I'm going Orioles all the way. I think I'm gonna go Orioles. Yeah, my dad's a major Orioles fan. My dad used to live in Baltimore, live in that area, I guess. So yeah, I'll go Orioles all the way. Orioles and Braves. I know that's kind of lame because they're the best records, but I think that'd be a fun World Series. Also, I kind of glazed over this a little bit. We talked about it last week. Injuries suck. Like Jamal Adams came back, gets a concussion, like a couple plays in the game, and he's out. Tre'Davious White, he got injured too. ACLs. Like it's just this year. I feel like all of the big name guys are getting banged up. And no, actually, my dad is a Cowboys fan. He just doesn't really care for. He just doesn't really care for baseball, so he just went with the hometown team, I guess. So yeah, injuries just suck. Injuries just suck. Had some little mic issues there for a second, so I apologize for that. This is also a bad week for Joe to get sick, so I'm just gonna just throw this out there right now for Joe. He's an Oklahoma fan. I'm a Texas fan. They play this weekend. They're 5-0. Last year, Texas laid down the boom on Oklahoma. Just blew them out. So hopefully, same result, right? Hopefully, same result. I think it's gonna be a good game. I expect them to win. I expect the Longhorns to win. I think their defense is outstanding. I know Oklahoma has some playmakers, so they got a little bit of speed. I'm a little worried with the speed, but I think Texas has responded well in their games. They look prepared. They come out swinging, and it Texas looks really good. I haven't been this excited for Texas football in 15 years. Has it really been that long? No, it hasn't been that. Yeah, I guess maybe it has. Maybe not 15. It's pretty close to 15. Since Colt McCoy since they had the national championship game against Alabama, I was in college. So that was at least 10 plus years ago. So it's been a while. So I do expect Texas to take it home. And I think this is the last one before they go to the SEC. Either way, expecting the good. I was hoping Joe would be here. We could do a little bet, but hook 'em horns. We're going to see Joe do this next week. I'm telling you that right now. He's hooking them horn. He's going to hook them. Now he's probably going to come on here and say horns down, but that's because that's what Joe does. Because he's a jerk. Joe really do be like that. I don't really know what else to say really about that. I mean, Colorado played good against USC. Well, second half, Colorado played really good against USC. Caleb Williams looks like the GOAT. Also, the Bears having the first and second overall pick in this year's draft right now is crazy. They could legitimately go Caleb Williams, Harrison Jr. That'd be wild. And the Bears would still find a way to mess it up because, I mean, the Bears are going to bear. Like we do the running joke of Chargers going to Charger, Raiders going to Raiders, Vikings going to Viking, or insert team going to insert the team. But if any franchise could ruin Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., it's the Bears. Like, let's be real. Yeah, the Bears would find a way to mess that up. They really would. They really would. I don't know that. Oh, I mean, I guess NBA wise, we had roundabout the Blazers traded Drew Holiday to the Celtics to kind of counter the Bucks trading for Dame. It's cool. It's a cool move. I think the Bucks are still easily the favorite in the East, and I'm a Heat fan, and I still don't count out the Heat. I don't think this helped. It helped the Celtics defensively, but like they just traded Marcus Smart for pennies on the dime. Their tallest player is their oldest player, and their other tallest player is their most injury prone player in Kristaps. So I don't know what it really helps because like I know Joe would fight me on this. Tatum ain't that guy in the playoffs. He's just not. He has a good game or two, but he kind of disappears. So does Jaylen Brown. That's why there were talk about bringing in Dame even or a Drew so they can take the ball out of their hands in clutch moments. That's why they were kind of forced to get rid of Smart. Like, if I was a betting man, which I'm not. But the Bucks are definitely the favorite in the East, and I don't think it's relatively close. I'm sorry, the Tatum is not that guy. I don't believe in Tatum until he shows me otherwise. I don't. What do we have? What have we seen from Tatum? We've seen more from Jimmy Butler in the last 4 years than we've seen from Tatum. We've seen more hairstyles from Jimmy Butler than we've seen from moments in the playoffs of Jason Tatum. He's had great games. He's a great player. He's not Himothy. And personally, Jimmy Butler's hair right now. The emo haircut, it's not it. It looks like Jimmy sleeps at his parents' house and he listens to Good Charlotte in the garage every day, all day. Or he plays My Chemical Romance. That's just wild. So I originally wasn't going to do anything like this because obviously I was expecting Joe to be here. But we're going to do my NFL power rankings as of right now for week 5. Right? So how I'm going to do this is I'm just going to do top 5. The top 5 power rankings. And I'll give you the 5 that didn't make it. And then I'll give you the reasons why I think each team is where they're at. And I know I'm going to get some pushback. And that's okay. That's okay. I will take the pushback because there's people aren't going to be happy. And that's fine. But so basically my 6 through 10. I'm not going to put the 6 through 10 in any order. I'm just going to name 5 teams that aren't in the top 5. So I got my list here. I don't have the Ravens in my top 5. I think they've been good. What's their I don't even know what the record is. Let me pull it up. So yeah, I have the Ravens outside of my top 5. They are currently 3-1 on top of the AFC North. I mean, they've been good, but not crazy. And I think the rest of my top 10 are going to end up being NFC team, or the rest of my 6 through 10 are going to end up being NFC teams. I don't have my Lions in the top 5. Another very good team, 3-1. They playing some smash mouth football. It's just, I think there's no question who the top 5 teams are. I think for the most part, everyone has the same top 5. It's just the Lions aren't a part of that. I mean, you could argue maybe that Lions could make it, but I just don't have them there. I'm trying to think of another team. I struggle with this one. Right now, I don't think I can put the Chiefs in the top 5. I know they're defending Super Bowl champs. They didn't look good They didn't look good in their last game. So I don't think I can realistically put the Chiefs there. Defense has been good, but I just don't know. I don't know. Seahawks aren't in my top 5. I mean, they're in the 10, but they're not in the 5. And trying to, who else would miss my top 5? Who else is a good team that, like, obviously the Bengals aren't even in the top 10. The Bengals look like trash. I guess maybe the Buccaneers, the surprising Buccaneers, probably ranked 10, 3-1 with Baker. Like, defense has looked solid. Mike Evans is banged up now, but so, I mean, with that, let's just do top 5 teams in the NFL right now. And I know I'm gonna get pushback. I know I am. I'm gonna get called biased. I'm gonna get called lots of things by that. And it is what it is. I'll take it. I'll take it. At number 5, I have the Eagles. I realize the Eagles are undefeated. I understand that. I also am willing to look at how they're playing. They're not playing great. They've acknowledged it as a team. They said they're not playing great. Even AJ Brown said you don't even want to be playing good right now. You want to play good later, which that's fair. That's fair. I agree wholeheartedly. So I just think the Eagles in all of their games, they've looked good first half. Second half, they have not looked good at all. Mac Jones tore up that secondary, made that game a 5-point game. Sam Howell last week, if they would have went for 2, like I was yelling, go for 2, go for the win. Don't go for overtime, go for the win. They needed a fourth down conversion and a field goal in overtime to knock off the Commanders. Like, you can't tell me that's good football. And I realize the Cowboys lost to the Cardinals, and we'll get to them. But the Eagles, especially in the second half of every single one of their games, have not looked good at all. And I don't think anyone can dispute that. So I have them at 5. Every team above them, I think, has been more impressive, in my personal opinion. At number 4, I battled with this one before. I said, it was the Chiefs or this team. As much as I'm not a huge believer in the Dolphins' offensive line, they have been phenomenal, with the exception of last week. And I just don't think one bad loss is enough to dethrone a team in the top 5. The Chiefs haven't looked as impressive as the Dolphins. So I got to acknowledge that with all the weapons, everything like that, the Dolphins have been top tier. It's just that if that offensive line was more solidified, I would pick the Dolphins to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to go that far, but we'll see. At number 3, I have the Bills. They have one bad loss at the beginning of the season, and they have been dominant since. Josh Allen, last 3 weeks, has been lights out. He had probably the worst quarterback game that you could have of the season in week 1 against the Jets. And Mahomes tried to beat that, but he didn't. But so, with the exception of week 1, the Bills look like a very good team. Defense is clicking. The offense is on all cylinders. Josh Allen is protecting the ball better. It's hard not to have the Bills higher. But teams 2 and 1, they're playing this week, so obviously this list is going to change. I have the Cowboys at number 2, realizing that yes, they lost to the Cardinals. Yes, and that looks bad, but that's what the Cowboys do every year. Being a Cowboys fan my whole life, with the exception of growing up when they were winning Super Bowls, they lose games they shouldn't. It's inevitable. A couple of years ago, they lost to Sam Darnold and the Jets. And I'm pretty sure that was the same year that Sam Darnold saw ghost against the Patriots. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. So it was inevitable. To me personally, if they would have beat the Cardinals, they probably would have lost to the Patriots. But I'm kind of glad it happened the way it did, because in their 3 wins, they have been absolutely dominant. Absolutely dominant. You win. You start the season 40-0, 30-10. You drop a game you should win against the Cardinals, and then you win 38-3. They are blowing out everyone. They just had a stinker in the middle. Kind of like the Bills. Like, if you're okay with the Bills at 3, you got to be okay with the Cowboys at 2. I mean, legitimately, they're the same. 1 bad loss, 3 dominant wins. Like, and number 1, the 49ers. It's pretty simple why they're number 1. CMC is amazing. Kyle Shanahan's amazing. Debo, Ayuk, the offensive line, the defense. It's all amazing. Kittle, like their weak spot, like it's been for 6 years? This is the quarterback position. Do we really know what we have in Purdy? Or is everyone around him really, 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 really good? Like, and I know there's people that you discredit this how you start the season. Like, no, like you start 3-1, you start 4-0, you're a good football team. You beat who's on your schedule. Just like the Eagles had the weakest schedule last year, and they went to the Super Bowl. They proved it in the playoffs. Like, it's exactly like you start great, you finish great. Like, it's also about when you get hot. You get hot about like that week 12, week 13, and you start to coast. So you're allowed to drop the games that you want to drop the games, the heartbreaking ones in the beginning of the season. I don't know that Purdy is a good quarterback. I don't know that Purdy's a good quarterback. I lived in Iowa when he was at Iowa State, so I I watched him. I watched him a lot. Uh, he has his moments. He is a very, very good game manager. I would argue he's no better than what Jimmy G was. Jimmy G won games. Jimmy G went to the Super Bowl with that team. The one season Jimmy G was not injured, he was in the Super Bowl with that team. It's what you got to deal with. No, winning is not a quarterback stat. It's not. Brock Purdy could go 17-0, and I would still feel the same. He doesn't light up the scoreboard. And I'm not saying he has to. He's managing the game. That's exactly what he should do. He's got all of these weapons, all of them. Like, you could put me at quarterback, and I could win 10 games with this Niners team. That's how good they are. But if the Niners had a top 10, a top 15 quarterback, they would be favored to win the Super Bowl every year. They would be favored over the Eagles. They'd be favored over the Cowboys. They'd be favored over the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins. But they don't have that. That's their weakest spot. And that's what concerns me. Same thing with the Dolphins. Their weakest spot at their offensive line. Their offensive line got exposed and they got smacked. If a team figures out how to expose Brock Purdy, the Niners can get got. The Eagles got to him in the playoffs. Yes, they injured him. He got hurt. I understand that, but they got to him. He is the weakest spot, and if the weakest spot is your quarterback on your team, it's not good. I disagree. The Cowboys have arguably the best defense in the league. They had a very bad game against the Cardinals, which I legitimately feel, even being a Cowboys fan, I really feel that Trayvon Diggs getting hurt deflated that team. it's hard to see an injury. It's hard to see an injury like that. Like it happened in practice. It didn't even happen in a game. We don't even really know what happened. But you lose one of your leaders, your captain. Like it's like when Dak snapped his leg. The Cowboys weren't good. Tony Pollard snapped his leg in the playoffs. It's not good. Like Tyron Smith goes out, not good. Watching the Cowboys through high school and college, when Sean Lee got hurt in the middle of that defense, the defense was not good. It's hard to lose one of your best players, and they had a huge bounce back game. So it's tough. It's tough. It's hard to. It's hard to judge a team. Like I know we can point at the Cardinals were 0-3 or 0-2. They were winless. They didn't beat the Commanders. They didn't beat the Giants, but they had to lead in both of those games. They blew massive leads. The Cardinals haven't looked bad. The Cardinals looked good against the 49ers until the fourth quarter when the Niners pulled away. The Cardinals are playing good football. They're not winning games. Like it just happened to be the Cowboys lost. And it's good. Everyone got a laugh from it. And then the Cowboys said, well, you know what? You wanted us to lose, so here's a 35-point butt kicking. See, you can't base rankings off of previous years. Every year is individual. You can rank like defensive players. Like I'd be willing to say Mike is the best defensive player in the league. Does he get the sacks that Bosa gets and Watt? No, but he affects 95% of the plays. They shift to Micah. They double team Micah. They triple team Micah. Then you got OC Digizua. You got DeMarcus Lawrence. You got the Wolf Hunter. You got Dante Fowler. Who insert player making a play. It's they can game plan for Bosa, yeah, and the Niners have a whole lot of other weapons, so they have to account for it. Dallas has Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and a bunch of rotational players. So when they focus on Micah, it's up to the rotational players to make plays. They're not as deep in the defensive line like the Niners, or even linebacker like the Niners. So it's just rough. It's rough. So we're gonna find out a lot this week. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys, Niners. We'll find out a lot. So with that being said, let's why not talk about tomorrow night's game, the Bears and the Commanders. Uh, I think the Bears are tanking for Caleb Williams, and they just hope now that the Panthers keep losing too. I don't know. I feel like they might trade Justin Fields. Like, and poor DJ Moore. I can't even say he'd be happy on the Panthers right now because they're also winless. It's oh wow, it's got to be tough to be a Chicago fan, especially if you're a Cubs and Bears fan, or even a White Sox Bears fan. It's Chicago sports are hurting right now. Whew, hoofda, right? I don't see there's any. I don't think there's any way. I mean, Fields can have another great game like he did against the Broncos, but I'm gonna take the Commanders. I also have Joe's picks right here too. Let me double check so I don't accidentally pick incorrectly for him. He also has the Commanders. So me and Joe in lockstep here on Commanders. Uh, Last week I went 4-1. Joe went 2-3, which allowed me to leapfrog him in the standings. I'm currently 13-7 through 4 weeks, and he is 12-8. So it's close. It's close, real close going into week 5. So we'll jump into next picks because I really don't think there's much to talk about for the Commanders and the Bears. I mean, Commanders have been really fun to watch. They got a lot of weapons. Bieniemy, you can tell he's got his fingerprints all over it. It's fun. It's fun. So for favorite, Joe has the Ravens to win their game. I don't have context for it, so I wish I did. So he chose the Ravens. He has the Ravens being. I got to make sure I don't pick the same ones as him. He has the Ravens beating the Steelers, which is fair. Kenny Pickett's banged up. It looks like he might play still, but it's a fair favorite. I think it's a safe favorite. 4-point spread. It's not bad. Not bad. Oh God. This feels scary. But I don't feel bad about it because I know Joe has done something similar to this, a big point spread favorite, and I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I'm going with the Dolphins. To knock off the Giants, which is kind of just burying the Giants, but that's fine. It's fine. I'm okay with that. We can bury the Giants. Oh, who are these guys? Huh, I just didn't know what you wanted for like why you chose the Ravens other than Steelers. If that's the context you're talking about, I don't know. I should write down my pick. I picked the Dolphins. And don't worry, I already talked about the Dolphins' disappointment. No. I already talked about the Dolphins' disappointment. We already talked about it. Fins down this week. But next week, Saturday, I already talked about that too. Red River rivalry. For upsets, honestly, I personally I like the Cardinals to upset the Bengals. Like I've talk about like I put a fork in the Bengals 2 weeks ago, and I'm convinced. you couldn't change my mind. I'm gonna take the Cardinals over the Bengals. This is my upset. I don't like Joe Burrow. Statistically, has been the worst quarterback in the league. I know it's not his fault. He's hurt. It's I don't know how they're favored. Lamar has more rushing yards this year than the last 2 seasons. I think he's back. MVP type season. And Odell looks like he might come back. I don't know if that matters. But for Joe's upset, again, I don't have context. He has the Colts. Maybe he can provide some. But he has the Colts to upset the Titans, which is a 1-point spread. Right, so that's like a pick 'em. That's fair though. Colts looked good. They battled back pretty good last week. Just fell short. So then we get to the fun games. Get the Cowboys and Niners. Joe has the Niners. I struggle with this so much. No matter what happens, it's a lose-lose situation for me. If the Cowboys win, it's like, but it wasn't the playoffs. If the Niners win, oh, same old Cowboys. They can't beat the Niners. Like, it is a lose-lose situation for me, no matter what happens. Oh, you beat the Niners? Cool, dude, in the playoffs. Like, Joe's favorite was the Ravens over the Steelers. So in a lose-lose situation, I'm going to root for my team to win. I'm going to take the Cowboys. It really doesn't matter because it'll mean more to the Cowboys to win this right now than later if they have to play them in the playoffs. They won't have that like mental block of, oh my God, we can't beat this team. Kind of like how last year I was like, oh, they'd never beaten Tom Brady, and then they did. Well, they've struggled against the Niners, and I love Dak's mentality too. In interviews, he's telling reporters to shut up, stop talking about the past. Like I love it. I love it. Like the mentality, even if he doesn't play good, like his mentality is, I love it. Ravens. So and last but not least, just I'm gonna take Denver, and since Joe's not here, are the Broncos playing a team this weekend? Well, yes, they are, Joe. Give me the other team. I feel like I did that pretty good. I did that pretty good. I did a good Joe impersonation there because Joe's just done. Trade everybody, fire everybody. it, if Joe picks the Raiders, you might really want to bring him to the hospital. Like I know he's sick, but he ain't that sick. I think the only way he's picking the Raiders is if they're playing the Broncos. I mean, Ravens, Raiders. I mean, I guess maybe. Is my mic kind of? Maybe it does. I don't know. Are the Broncos playing a team this weekend? Yes. Oh, okay. Give me the other team. Yeah. I mean, for solo dolo, I think it was pretty entertaining for me, anyways. Uh, didn't get any of these moments, so I'll give you one now. Yep, that's it. That was the moment of emphasis on the I, because I'm not really stupid when I'm by myself. I mean, I'm stupid, but like I'm more stupid with Joe. Broncos defense is a disaster. I mean, you not wrong. You not wrong. Uh, they might make Zach Wilson look like Aaron Rodgers. uh, but Joe, you're awesome. Hope you feel better. But I need a comment from you. Just a special comment just from you. Just to really close. I got nothing else. baseball. Talked week 4, week 5, Taylor Swift, a little bit of basketball. I talked about the Jets not getting screwed because like you can't turn a receiver as a corner. There it is. Asta.